What main variation do you want me to go over? He's my main, so I can happily go through all of them. All right. So, all right. Sonya sounds great.
Sonya Blade, the gateway.
Yo. Welcome to the stream. It's your boy Combo Heaven coming at you with another free life coaching session. So, for the maybe 50% of you that have no idea what this is or what I'm talking about, as if the August 26th patch, way back in Evo, I want to say, I recently started something called free coaching sessions, where now that I'm creating combo guides and are getting into extreme depth with characters, I now give myself the ability to teach everything I know to anybody who wants to learn it, to increase their capability at high level. Because honestly, even if you're not competing, this game is just 1,000 times more fun if you actually know what you're doing. And I feel like that service should be free. So that's exactly what I'm doing. This is actually a returning player. He was actually in the first free live coaching session. Sub-Serena also goes by Moon Millie. If you remember, I was teaching him Noob Saibot. Feel free to introduce yourself. They can hear you. No problem. So last time I was teaching Noob, and I have a feeling that this character will be a lot easier for you to understand. I feel like this might be your main character, just going off of how good that skin looks. So yeah, Sub-Zero is an amazing character in terms of his gameplay. His weaknesses come to how NRS is just really bad at balancing and giving his archetype true identity. That's what I always felt like his issues with. His mid is slow, and yes, this is abysmally slow. But that could be made up for if his archetype was corrected. And as of the recent patch, I do feel like they were able to, fix it. So Sub-Zero got some buffs for anybody in the chat that was unaware. I know some certain types of high-level players who use this character want to say that they're nerfs. They are not. Sub-Zero got buffs specifically to his Ice Clone. The first thing that people may not even notice is that his Ice Clone lasts longer. His meterless Ice Clone actually lasts for a whole extra second. And that may not seem like a big deal, but it actually means that, for those of you that watched my combo guide, it means that my corner setups are easier to execute now. You have more leeway. So yeah, this is easier to do now. You actually have a little bit more time. It's so easy, in fact, that you can break armor with this if you use the right team. And that'll be useful once we get to that part. The next buff was also to Ice Clone. There was a buff made to this, and it can really only be showcased in a combo. Jesus Christ. Okay, the timing on this is a little annoying. I'm just gonna do the corner combo. Ugh. Okay, I always forget that online practice mode has really aggressive online game. Okay, there we go. Okay, that was not the combo. What is this? That took way too long, and that's not even optimal. But that's the next buff. They gave him a lot more combo opportunities. If you saw my new Sub-Zero combo video, which I'm pretty sure many of you watching have, you can see just how optimal these new combo extensions can get. The buff also gives him setup utility, which we'll get into in the actual coaching. The last buff he got was to his normal enhanced Ice Clone. It lasts longer. Way longer. I don't know if you were counting, but that was just under 5 seconds. To give you an idea, his ice clone used to only last about 2 seconds. This will go away in 0.2 seconds. It's going away in 5. It lasts so long that with proper conditioning, at the end of your setups, you can do something like this. That was 30% for a grab. That is a whole thing now. And if you up block, that could have been 40. That is a whole thing that this character can do now. Also, the hitbox on his ice clone, it was generously buffed. And the distance that Sub-Zero makes when he does his ice clone was generously buffed. Which means it's a lot harder for characters to disrespect him without using armor. So now, basically, if you were to do this on block with a good string like this, only way this is getting punished is if they armor through. Nothing else will work. Before, Astra could kill you for this, or Mech could kill you for this, I'm pretty sure none of those characters can actually physically touch Sub-Zero now. A few other minor buffs he got was a buff to the hit advantage of certain moves when executed in the air, like this. This is plus 50. The reason that's so important is that his ice clone has 44 recovery frames. So before, I want to say the hit advantage of jumping 112 was like 40, plus 40. So if you did a clone on Okizeme, like the traditional setup, you were at -4, which means you couldn't get armored. Now, if you do it, you're at +6 if you time it. Which basically just means that this setup is a lot harder to disrespect, it's a lot harder to get out of, and it's just a lot more viable. Your opponent has less frames to move, less frames to do something, and it makes it easier for you to challenge them if they're jumping, or it makes it easier to legitimize your setups. So all in all, they perfected the trap archetype that Sub-Zero is supposed to be, because that's who Sub-Zero really is at the core. He is a trap character. He wants to drag you to the corner and then loop you to death with ice clone setups. That's who this character is. You know, if you're jumping, you're just going to get frozen. If you are disrespecting his setups, he can start mixing it up with different setups. It's a whole caliclave of madness. His biggest issue in previous patches, other than the fact that he was slow, is that he had no archetype identity. You couldn't really do anything with him other than try to enforce the slow mid and hope for the best, or use the mix-ups that various cameos gave him. Now Sub-Zero actually has a game plan that is extremely easy to enforce, whereas it barely existed before. I think that does it for the exposition. We can actually get into stuff. Okay, this is going to be a little difficult because Sub-Zero just got buffed, and I kind of only spent like maybe 5 minutes in the actual lab with him. But, so you're going to find that this is, the way I'm going to explain Sub-Sonia to you is going to be very derivative. It's going to seem very similar up until a certain point. Does that still sound good? I was just basically saying that the way I'm going to explain how Sub-Sonia plays, I'm going to make it sound like they play the same way, even though I don't think that's really true anymore. It's just going to be easier for me to teach you the team if I go off of what I've already practiced, rather than things that I just labbed, which are only experimental at this point. So, Sub-Sonia is definitely his best team now. You could make an argument it's still Chameleon. My problem with Chameleon is that you don't have control over Sub-Zero's momentum, and the slide into float doesn't really work, even though people will still do it. But Sub-Sonia is definitely a well-rounded team. This team has damage, this team has mix, this team has ways to go about the neutral, it's a mid projectile. And thanks to another buff, which I didn't even mention, this is a buff. This slide buff has just made this team a hit and run archetype. Hold on, this is not the script. Settings. So Sub-Zero could not do this before. He can do this now. So I think he could even do this from full screen. Yep. So yeah, that's new. Oh yeah, and it's a very generous timing. So that's just one thing right off the top of my head that the new buff does that specifically Sonya can help capitalize on. But the timing is a little annoying. Sub-Zero, tell me what you already do. Like, basically just show me, like, what a round of you using Sub-Sonia will look like. Like, what are you doing? Just off the top of your head. Oh, that used to be pop. That used to link. Okay, this is slightly true. There is a small truth to this. I think with that link, that's not possible anymore. Let me just see. Yeah, you're not getting that anymore. But a lot of people think this hurt his Optimus in a lot of ways, but that's not necessarily true. The timing is just a lot more strict. So this, I'm pretty sure that's still possible. Thanks. Ugh, this online delay is gonna kill me. I really hope this is easier on you than it is on me. There it is. So it's still very much possible, but the timing will kill you. But it's definitely worth it because he needs that extra damage. So like for the conversion. Oh, that brings a new point home. You would probably want to do something like this now. How do you want to do this? Do you want to save? No, you want to do it a little bit. No, that's not what we do. There it is. Okay, so, all right, okay, so, all right, so this is actually a good thing. So his neutral has not changed. Like what you're just doing at the start of the game hasn't changed. You're still pretty much mixing into your overhead or your low into slide. It's just that now it's a lot more accessible with the slides. And I think you can do more damage now because you can use the slide mid combo as well, spend another Sonya, and then get more damage. So let's just experiment with this. Oh, Jesus Christ, that's gonna be fucked. The part of me is hoping that's not possible, because that's gonna screw with you. That might not be possible with this team, and you better hope it's not, otherwise it's gonna be a long day. Ugh. Yeah. That's a start, but that's definitely not worth spending both cylinders. I could do better. Maybe like, ugh, no, that's horrible. Yeah, we're gonna ignore that. Because frankly, I don't even recommend spending both Sonyas at the start anyway. Because I do not think that's how this team should be played. You should never be very eager to just spend both of these. Because Square Wave has a normal recovery. The best thing about Sonya and the way Sub-Sonia works is that most of the utility comes from the use of this ring toss. Especially once you land your hit. Like, this team is at its best when you're doing two things. Corner carrying and then looping. So you definitely want to play a different kind of neutral now. So a really good thing about this buff, this buff to his slide, you can now do what you were doing with this with his standing to one. So you now no longer have to spend a bar with Sub-Sonia to get a conversion off of his best string. You can just spend one of the cameos and get an easy pickup. and that's corner carry, blah, 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 blah. And then by the time you land another hit, you'll have all of your Sonya back, and then you can go for the ring toss shenanigans. So that's definitely how I would use this team. And obviously, you still have the option to spend the bar. Whoop. Why am I dropping this link in here? By the way, don't do that if you had not consistent with the timing, because it is completely pointless. This thing I do this because you can. I do this because you can, and I'm flexing. Do not actually do this, because the timing is ridiculous, especially on this online way. What makes it extra pointless is that it actually does less damage than if you weren't to do it at all. I just think it's very fun and very cool. Now you're in the corner, and then... Okay. Oh, that's actually really good to know. Because one thing that I'm definitely probably not going to be able to teach you right now is what to do with this team. I'm thinking maybe something like this. Wait, does that work? Okay, I changed my mind. I guess that's what you can do. Whoops. Okay, so I guess that's something. Okay, that actually feels like a good starting point. So the slide will just land, and max delay. Okay, that's the hard part. Let me get this at least 3 times in a row before I ask you to do it. And this should work like hardcore mid-screen too. Okay, that's fun. Oh, wait, no, we have a problem. Let me make sure I'm right. And that Sub-Zero just didn't get a damage effect or something. Oh, that's a problem. That was the easy optimal. What you actually want to do is this. So, okay, the timing is not being generous with me today. There it is. Well, that's a problem. So the new BB I just discovered does less damage than his old one. This is something that I've actually noticed with a lot of new Sub-Zero teams. Okay, so that's actually a disclaimer. Actually, do you think you could get that combo consistently before we even talk about new stuff? Yeah, because that's what I really recommend learning. Like, obviously, you would confirm it off of Deadly Vapors instead of just Raw Overhead. But what this does is that it puts you right in the corner. Oh my god, it freeze frames whenever you play the game. It's all I practice with, it's so annoying. Hold on, I think I know what it is. The damn damage text is breaking it. Let me just turn both of them off. That should help. Okay, I see what you're doing wrong. So you're delaying your jumping to ones. You don't want to do that at all, actually. Oh, no. What you were doing with the cancel was fine. I meant like delaying when you throw them out. So you want to do the jumping to ones as fast as possible. And then, you just input it as it comes down. One thing a lot of people do that they don't have to, they try to time it as soon as they're on the ground. What you can actually do is just press Ice Clone after you recover from the move, and it'll just automatically do it. It's like a ground, I think I told you about this before, it's like a ground cancel auto mechanic, where if you special cancel into something that doesn't have an air version, it'll just come out as soon as you land. With Ice Clone, you could just delay your Ice Clone, and it'll basically read it as a grounded Ice Clone and automatically give it to you. Yeah, it makes those combos way easier to do. That also works. The reason I don't have a problem with that is because it's a corner carry combo. I really only think this combo is useful to do if you know it's going to put them in the corner, because that's where you want to be, like, at all times. You want Sub-Zero to be in that corner. But it doesn't always work. Like, if you hit them at the start of the game, they will literally already be in the corner. That's why I said I'm okay with this. So let's say you're even a little bit further ahead. They're definitely in the corner, and you'll be able to have a more generous time with the combo. But let's say you're cornered and you do it. That's when you want to learn the actual timing. Of course, what you do if you're hardcore Midscreen is a little bit different. See, in this situation, the new combo actually does more damage. So if you're actually cornered and you know they're not going to make it to the thing, it actually does more damage in this situation. Actually, I want to test something, because this could actually save the validity of this combo. Damn it! I was trying to see if it would corner them again if I finished it. But it looks like it won't. That's what I was thinking in my head. If doing this combo when you're cornered will re-corner them, that's actually a good thing. It's so annoying. Alright, proceed as planned. Really gotta figure out this online delay. Because it's not lagging, it's literally just delaying everything so everything functions right. It's like rollback netcode on fucking steroids. Oh yeah, so before you would have just dropped the combo, but once again, remember how I said they generously buffed Ice Clone's hitbox? That's why that's possible now. There are a lot of situations where you could do jumping 2-1 into instant air Ice Clone, and it'll link when it used to not be able to do that. But that works, and that's actually really useful for another thing that you can do here. I'm trying to remember how it works. Because I invented a ring toss setup last minute in my head. I'm trying to see how it works. You know, we can skip that. Because, okay, one thing I really want to teach you that I can teach you in like 0.5 seconds is your new corner game. Because this is something that I don't see any Sub-Zero players doing right now, and they should be doing it. So, oh, I forgot to mention the only actual nerf this character got. Actually, let me confirm something. Yeah, okay, so I did confirm it. The recovery on all of his clones has been increased by like a whole second, or maybe a little bit less than that. That is the closest thing to a real nerf he actually got. Because his clones are stronger, clone cooldown is just slightly higher. I have noticed that. See right there? Before, that would loop into itself easily. Now it does not. This you could definitely actually call this a true nerf. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But, emphasis on but, this would only be a problem if your Sub-Zero team does nothing for Sub-Zero's like technique utility. For this team, it does. Because you're not exactly doing something like this. You're doing something completely different. So, let's see if I have this right. Oh, yeah, that. This is actually a buff in disguise. It is actually a good thing that this does not connect on hit. The hitbox was generously buffed. So, try to jump out of this. hypothetically. Like, just try to jump out of it. You just die. And because the recovery is a lot more advantageous to you on hit, let's say the person tries to do that tech where they switch block shifts to break the clone and then try to punish you. That you'll just get embarrassed with that. By the time you move, you die. So you are stuck here. You can jump straight up, but that's not gonna get you anywhere. You're still stuck there. Then I can just. So this is a true gimmick now. Before, the person would have to be Casper to get hit by this, but now it's a lot easier to hit this gimmick on people because they can't jump out of it, not realistically. So that's a really good buff that people don't talk about. This is a buff in disguise because they generously buff the hitbox without making it tougher. One reason people call this a nerf on block is that certain characters can break the clone on block. They think being able to break the clone at all is a problem. And it could be, because what you're doing is that you're negating the trap archetype before you can get up and try to mix you. Factory to clone fixes this. It increases the distance, and I mean this in the most particular way possible, ever so slightly. So now, for example, let's say you're using Rain. What a Rain player would do at high level is that, let's say you block this. So block this. They would low block and break the clone. So I wonder if Sub-Zero can do it. Try to low block the clone after blocking this. So Sub-Zero cannot do it. Wait, no, stand block, then low block. Let me see if that's how it works. Yeah, Sub-Zero can't do it. But Rain can, and every female character can. So this is what people were complaining about, like Sub-Zero players were complaining about, that they can just low block and make the thing go away automatically without really having to move. With Mac 3, that's not a thing. And you're still in the perfect position to, once you get the timing right. Oh, remember what I said about the clone lasting longer? I would always, like, master the micro dashing because you literally didn't have a lot of time. Now you don't have to. You can borderline walk. No, that's not even borderline. Okay, you technically can't walk, but you literally can do anything else. So it's just a lot easier to do this to people. And that's another clone. Like, it's so much fun. And if they jump, they're literally just gonna get hit by the clone now. So before, what a person could do, if they're this, they can just jump up. There's a 70% chance that's not gonna work anymore. Obviously, distance is the key here, but I don't think you can jump out of this anymore. Not very well. If you jump over, I'm pretty sure you're gonna get frozen. Like, just try to be sure. Okay, that's not the optimal, but you see where this is going. So yeah, this has turned Sub-Zero into a true trap character, which is what he's supposed to do. So now, one of the reasons that, I don't know if you've watched the Sub-Zero guide I made, but one of the reasons I said a lot of teams were good, it was simply because it gave you the ability to use armor breaking clone setups, which still have their place, but also because you could armor break them, it also made it harder for you to jump. So that's why Sub-Striker was so good. He had those air grenades that made it impossible for you to jump out of the clone setup, but now the clone is impossible to jump out of all on its own. So now the only thing you can do to get out of a setup, so like the base Sub-Zero setup, the only thing you can do is armor. And that's not even going to guarantee your safety. That's just the only thing that'll break the clone without freezing you. So let's see, if I don't see armor coming and I try to dash up, I will get hit. But if I see an armor coming, I can just block and nothing happens. And once I recognize nothing happens, I can just do something else. Yeah, if I try to move, yeah, I do get hit. But if I just don't see it, but if I see it coming, you're gonna get blocked. Then you're gonna lose. How much are you using for a punish now? Oh yeah, that's a whole thing. It depends on the wake up, but some wake ups actually just get destroyed by this. It depends on the hitbox it has. Sub-Zero can get past it because it's a low, and I haven't even got it. But basically, die. It's just the most awful experience ever. Okay, but back to the main thing at hand. This is the main thing I want to see people doing. So try to armor. Yeah, it's a true armor break. And then you're frozen. Oh, why did it freeze? But yeah, this is why this is Sub-Zero's best team. This is the real reason. Armor will not work. If you armored there, here's what happens. So one weakness that a lot of teams have, like a lot of my previous teams, I would do a ice armor breaking setup with Ice Glow, but then they get frozen and I lose the clone. So I get the combo, but now it's over. Why this is so good is that they're already armor broken by the back three and the ring toss. So they get armor broken and then the clone is still in their face. And guess what? This is where I turn on frame data. You are at plus 40 or at hit advantage. Plus 40 hit advantage, at least. You're literally at like plus 4. Well, you're actually at plus 80, but you recover in 44 frames because of Ice Clone. So you're really like plus 40. Oh, that can happen. If you were wondering what would happen if you just charge it all the way, that can happen. You don't want to charge it all the way every single time because then the opponent actually could armor out. And it's usually never necessary because you're already plus enough as is. But let's say if you were to fully charge, so block. Block on wake up. Remember, it's a low. So block this on wake up. That is plus 50 and some change. It's really plus 100, but remember the 44 frames of recovery. So you cannot move. I am not kidding. You can't move. The instant you were able to do something, your back three hit you. So let's say you tried to jump. If I time it right, you're just going to get hit by the back three. It's not even going to look like you tried to jump. It's going to just look like you moved. See right there? My timing wasn't perfect. But if my timing was perfect, you would get frozen. But here's the thing. Thanks to the Ice Clone buffs, this setup is even stronger. Now I don't have to read it. Okay, do you know how to armor break on reversal? So like, like when you block something and then armor afterwards because you know there's a gap in it. So try to do that on wake up. So you're gonna block low and then you're gonna immediately do armor slide. So if you get armored at any point, you were either gonna get frozen or you were gonna get frozen. Armoring at is death. If you were to armor after blocking my back three, the Ice Clone is gonna, you're gonna get hit by the ring charge and then the Ice Clone is gonna freeze you and you're gonna eat 35%. Right there. You just tried to armor through or something and you just died. And you take damage because the ring toss has no recovery. So by the time you get frozen, Sonya's already back to add some combo extension, so you're gonna lose 35%. 1 bar. Or maybe even meterless. Let's say you try to armor break right there. So let's say you try to armor after blocking the whole thing. You are gonna get armor broken by back three. It's ridiculous. So try to block low. So if you armored there, you were gonna get frozen by clone. This used to be even more broken because you could do the same thing with grab. Like you could armor break with grab. That's no longer possible. That is a nerf actually that I should discuss. Before, let's see, plus 6. This used to break armor. It does not do that anymore, but that's okay. I'm okay with that because he can already armor break with his back three. And more importantly, the grab itself isn't unblockable, so that's always going to be a factor. So what you have is a very loopable setup. That needs some labbing. So I didn't bring this up, but that's a new hit reaction. He gets frozen last minute for some reason. I need to figure out what to do with that. Because in the past, so this might have actually been a nerf. Hold on, let me see what happens. Okay, that new hit reaction is a nerf. Because now I have to spend a bar to get a really good good damage in that situation. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, this is actually a minor nerf. So before I could my back 2 with one, but now it won't, so I have to do some shit like into okay. Yep, and everything will whiff. His mid will whiff, his overhead will whiff. They need to fix that. They don't need to change what they did to Ice Clone because that's the reason it's happening. Ice Clone is slightly further away than it used to be, so it creates a new hit reaction. He'll get hit by the clone, so it still works, but he'll get hit by a last minute. So all you need to do is use this combo instead. So if you don't have a bar at all, I don't recommend this setup now because they could just choose to take it, and then you're not really getting anything. You're gonna get this, and that just doesn't feel worth it. But that's that's fine. So yeah, and basically this is a lose-lose situation. If you just take the hit, you're gonna lose it. Actually, hold on. Let me see something. I wonder if I just wait long enough. Ah, that doesn't work. Okay. But yeah, so if you just take the whole thing, I have the bar, you're gonna lose 35%. If you block it, like you block the whole thing, that can happen. Oh yeah, poking back will just get you killed. So actually, the meta of how this setup works is different too. I don't have to guess anymore. Because I have so much time to do it, so let's block it in. I can wait for you to kill yourself. So I don't need to. So what could happen in the past if you think they're not gonna mash? Going for the grab has always been the riskiest option because if you're wrong about it, it can blow your setup up. You won't like get punished or anything, but you lose the momentum of the setup because you break the ice clone early with your grab. But now, because the clone lasts a lot longer, I have enough time to wait. I have enough time to wait a little bit and basically react to you poking and then save the combo. Before I didn't have time to do that because if I waited, well, I just lost the setup altogether. So it was kind of a guessing game. Now I don't have to guess, which is what was his trap archetype was missing. What the difference between a trap character, like a setup character, and a set play character is that a set play character throws something out of knockdown, like the clone, and they do one of three things, irregardless of what the opponent is doing. A trap character isn't like that. A trap character is more reactive. It's basically how a set play character works, except I don't immediately go for something. I'm supposed to wait, read, and react to what you're doing, and then do something. If I see you're turtling up, so that's why I say these buffs are so good for Sub-Zero. It basically gives me enough time to read if you're going to do something. So right there, that's another thing they need to fix. They still haven't fixed yet. But this is okay. Because let's see you do that again. You know, something that won't get you frozen for some reason. Well, I'm just going to whip punish that. Oh, and sometimes I get the hit reaction I want. It might be a hitbox thing. That might be a hitbox thing. I don't know. Yeah, see right there, I fucked myself. See, the sweep threw me off. Because normally I'm supposed to stand here. Yep, die. Well, what I was trying to show, but now I guess it just wasn't working. If you sweep and it actually doesn't freeze you, you're gonna get whip punish because Sleep has 37 recovery frames. I'm already like, by the time you do that, I can already move. So if you just do that, what I could do is, hypothetically, so let's say you were to sleep right here. No, sleep. Back, full. It's really reading your inputs, huh? So you're gonna get whiff punished by time. So actually, let me do it off of the actual side. So a reverse is sweep. Ugh. Timing. Okay, so this is me. I'm the one fucking up now. Because what I'm supposed to do is wait for you to sleep. Oh, that's a problem. That's a problem. I really hope that this is just because you have to have faster speed. If that actually breaks it, then I'm gonna be very concerned. But I think I should be able to punish this. You know, wait, no, I may have a solution. Okay, try to do it again. I think I have a solution. There you go. That problem solved. So I could just reaction slide for sure. Okay, so price is a root. Alright, so this is basically the corner game. You will literally do this broken setup that you can't really do anything about. And then you get a clone on Oki. I should have had the clone back out. I don't know why it took so long. Make sure whatever you do after you land a clone takes 6 seconds or more. That way you know for a fact you can do the clone on Oki. What you don't want to be is in a situation where you cannot do the clone. You should always be able to do the clone at the very end. So yeah, this is what you want to do. And obviously you're not just going to do the raw overhead. You can confirm this easily. Like, obviously the good old-fashioned spin the bar. Or, of course, some ice building. Damn it! Oh, that's a problem. That is definitely a problem. Okay, well, I need to reevaluate that. That's interesting. Okay, I think I can do this. Okay, that should save it. Okay, so another utility of Sonya. Well, a new utility that I didn't think I'd ever have to teach. Ring toss. So remember how I said you don't have to do this because the link is very annoying? Well, unfortunately, the one nerf Sub-Zero got has now made this very necessary. What Sonya does with this ring toss is not important because you lose damage a little bit. The reason you want to do this now is to buy time. Buy enough time to make sure you can do Ice Clone again by the time it's time for the setup. That's the reason you want to now add those ring toss leads into your meal. Oh yeah, well, one, I'm probably doing optimals, which most Sub-Zero players don't do, because most Sub-Zero players like convince characters' damage is god-awful. Is it better than most of the people in the game? No. But is it terrible? No. So there's that. But yeah, no, Sub-Zero actually did get a minor damage scaling reduction, which is just code for damage buff. All this. Like, even this had its damage scaling slightly reduced. That used to do 35.5, now it does 36, so it does a whole % more. Okay, so now that I've showcased it, I'm gonna try to have you test it. So this time you're gonna do literally everything you just saw. First, try to do it without me even properly explaining how to do it. I want to see how well you can just adapt to what you're seeing. So I'm gonna do nothing, I'm gonna take the setup. You don't actually have to micro backdash. I do that because I've gotten used to it. The reason you micro backdash is actually for an optimal combo that Sub-Zero does. You do not have to micro backdash. You can actually just wait. But you want to wait a lot. Okay, I see the problem. You're probably not very used to how charge specials work in the way that I use it. Once you charge a move, you recover at the same time. So basically, you don't want to let go once you start charging it, and then you just want to do something while you're holding R1. That's another reason I backdash. Sometimes that happens, but it doesn't happen most of the time. I think if you just wait a good while, that should never happen. But I hate waiting, so I just backdash. So you gotta charge it. Nope, you can't let go of the button. The only way that's happening is if you're just letting go of the button at any point. You cannot let go. You have to hold the R1 until it comes out. Like, never focus on letting go of R1. The ring will come out on its own. See, you let go at some point. So I think your struggle is that it's hard for you to press two buttons at the same time. What mistake you're making? Okay, so I think the mistake you're making is that you're trying to... So where are your fingers when you're trying to hold two buttons at the same time? Okay, so your buttons are where they you're using the right fingers. I had that problem with one person. You're probably just trying to speed run it. Take your time. This is the first thing I tell anybody that tries to learn an optimal anything in a fighting game. You have way more time than the game makes it look. By design, fighting games are meant to be flashy, so they make things that actually have a lot of leeway seem like they have a lot of tight execution. Remember, just don't let go of R1. Once you hold R1, just pretend like you have to hold R1 the whole time. No, if you wait for the ring toss to come out to do anything, it defeats the whole purpose of the setup. So let me show you what would happen if I were to just wait until the ring toss comes out. Wake up armor. You didn't wake up armor, but if you did, I would have gotten hit. That's the whole thing. You do not want to wait. So yeah, that's the basic reason. If you wait, you're gonna get punished. Hell, you'll get down 2 on reaction, actually. Like, this will happen. Try it. Try to just hold ring and not do anything else. Whoops. I don't know why I didn't give me my jump cancel, but that's what's supposed to happen every single time. Yeah, for some reason Sony's taking part of the hit, but theoretically you could have gotten jump canceled for like 40% unbreakable. So no, you want to do the setup right. Almost. The key part is the ice clone. Like back 3 in the ice clone. You let go of ring toss too early. You almost did it, but you took way too long, so let's say I armored there, you died. You still took too long. So you want to press back 3 as soon as you can, otherwise there's no way that's going to armor break anybody. Yes. So, I didn't even show you this part. So remember how I said that charging it all the way is totally optional? Well, the reason I say this is because charging it all the way makes it to where you cannot armor break people. They could do that now. They can armor. Unless they have a slow armor. If you do this against Takeda, oh my god, there's nothing they can do. It's actually way too slow. That's a 9. That might actually be Sub-Zero's only 9-1 matchup. Sub-Sonia versus Nikita in general, he will get duped, actually. That's the only character that can't do anything because it's too slow. I think you timed it right. You did it. That was the right timing. So now you're going to learn the armor break timing. Remember how I said you don't have to let it go? You have to let it go now. You have to let it go at a very careful timing. You should be able to press back 3 as soon as possible. As soon as the game will let you, you have to press it. That was the correct timing, but to make sure you get it right, this time I'm going to armor on wake up. So if I get armor broken, that means you got it. Good. And notice how it almost looked like you were going to get hit, but you didn't. It's a very generous timing. You have to just be confident and know it's going to work. Now do that 2 more times in a row. Well, that's failure. I got to start all over. I'm going to let you have that because I'm the one that did it wrong. Not yet. Oh, that actually reversed my inputs. I see what you were talking about now. I'll make that count, so where I'm running. That's 2, 1 more, and you've officially mastered the consistency. And we're starting over. You have to get everything consistent, otherwise there's just no way you should use it. Nope, that does not count. Okay, so one mistake I see you're making, see, this is only happening because you're not micro backdashing, which is technically optional, but it's actually making it easier for me to armor. Because what happened just now, Sonia's ring missed. This is a Sub-Zero issue because Sub-Zero's hitbox is weird in the corner. See what just happened there? I inputted ice cold, but it thought I was side switching. That will happen so often because of this. This move is the reason that happens. And this. These are 2 moves that have a very similar swing animation, so the game doesn't know which side of the screen you're on sometimes. This is a problem only with Sub-Zero. But unfortunately, so basically I'm saying you kind of have to micro backdash now. I didn't think that would happen, but it's looking like it will. You just armor broke me with a grab. That's rude. See, look at that. It thought you were on the other side of the screen, so it can give you your input. Ooh, no ice clone, that does not count. Almost. See, the back 3 in the ring toss is actually where armor break shoot. The clone is your free setup afterwards. The game thought you side switch, and it didn't even look like it that time, right? That's why that backdash is so important. Nope. Nope. Almost, but no, the ice clone came out. Yep. There we go. I did an armor because I was paying attention, but that one counts. You can have the timer, I can tell. Yep. Yep. That might be viable, actually. Like, if you wanted to, let's say you had a brain fart, down 3 in the ice cold should still work. I don't recommend it for 2 reasons. Cancel advantage. Oh, no, their cancel advantage is the same. Okay, that's actually a good sign. And this is technically faster. Huh. I guess the main reason I wouldn't recommend it is because now it doesn't combo on hit. It's always going to lead to the setup. But depending on your perspective, that could actually be seen as a good thing. Okay. Yeah, if you want to do down 3 instead of back 3, I approve. I'll let that count. I didn't armor because I wasn't paying attention, so you're at 1. Ooh. Ooh. You're probably forcing the input. Remember, by the time you throw out back three, I'm already supposed to be armor broken, so don't worry about having to do it extra fast or extra slow. Do it at the same time you would always do it. That counts. I'll let you have that. So that's one. Yeah, that's funny. But that doesn't count. See, but you gotta cancel into the ice storm. Because this is just part one. In an armor break situation, because the clone doesn't get broken by this, you have to go for a setup afterwards. So you have to have this autopilot. That's the timing on this has to be autopilot for you. Because this is the timing you're probably going to go for whether they armor or not. You're not always going to go for the plus 100 version where they can't move. Hell, it's not even necessary anymore because of the buffs to the hitbox. That's one, okay. Nope, that was that's one. I didn't armor, but trust me, you got the timing right. Ew, no, you know what? I'm not gonna count that. You're gonna keep going. I'll count that. That's two. Is that the game? The game screwed you, not you. I don't know how it thought you were on the other side, but somehow it thought that. That's the third timing. All right. So now you have a good idea of what the timing is. Even now, do I think you're ready to use this in a real match? Technically, no. I do think you've memorized this enough to where now you can practice this on your own time, which is the real goal of the whole get it 3 times in a row. That's why I have all the people I teach do that. I want to make sure that they will remember it once the session is over. Because, yeah, another reason I live stream it is that so the players can just rewatch the whole thing. But now I don't. That live stream being there isn't necessary because you have the whole thing ingrained into your head. So now we're gonna add the next layer, which is doing setup afterwards. So try your best to wake up armor. So that's basically the next step. You didn't armor, but if you did, it would have been the setup. So armor on wake up is what I'm reversing. And that's basically, I fucked it up. That's part 2. So that right there is part 2. Part 2 is you armor breaking and then going for a setup. Strike throw. So for the sake of argument, the safest option here actually is grab because now that they're restood, which is another reason why this setup is so good, grab is like your safest option because it's unblockable. You're at plus 40 hit stun. Obviously, they can duck it on a hard read and kill you, but chances are they aren't because they're just flustered by the fact that they just got armor broken. Like, keep that in mind. That's the whole setup. They just got armor broken. You're at plus 40. They don't know what to do, so they're probably just going to turtle up and block. And then get hit by the back 3 if they are still going to mash. Or they're going to get a hit with grab because they're turtling up. And also, you theoretically could use your overhead in this situation as well. I sure as hell don't recommend it because it's reactable. But you technically could. But the timing is strict. Because with Meterless Icicle, you can do this now. But notice how I dropped it there. But that's possible. Is a 1-frame link possible? Yeah, that works well with the overhead. But this is pointless because your casual players are reacting to this move. You're never hitting this raw. If you are, it's because the opponent is turning their brain off. But just for reference, you theoretically could mix it up with the overhead. But realistically, Sub-Zero is not really using this overhead. This might as well. I would be so happy if they just made this like 18 frames and a mid, because straight up, this character is not even a real mix-up character half the time. Or if he is, his mix is coming off of his low strings. This might as well be a move. That's how bad it is as a mix-up key. It might as well just be a mid. But back to the stuff. So I want you to consistently be able to do this. Why is it lag freezing? And after you get the setup, you're gonna do this conversion. So it counts if I get frozen at all. That's what I want you to do. You can mix it up with forward grab if you want. Actually, let me test something. If this is true, then this is even easier now. No, you cannot get it with normal grab. You do still have to get the forward grab with the mid-air switch. I was wondering in my head, like, is it even that easy? But like, you'll have a good job. You should do it. So yeah, either forward grab me after, or do your back three. Either will work. Nope, you just died, and you just jumped, cornered yourself, and just took 30%. I have no idea what makes that happen or not happen. I legit do not. Just know that that has like a 1. You would just continue the conversion as planned because you should still get 40% for that. See how much time you had? I'll count that. All right, get it. All right, get it one more time, and then we'll be able to move on. Oh wow, you weren't kidding. I'm hoping that's the online delay and not something and not like a Sub-Zero problem. and literally because of the buffs, you can totally take your time. Because that's the point. Because at any point they could mash, they could jump, and they'll get frozen anyway, and you can react to that and not lose the combo. That took a little bit too long. You gotta get it. You gotta maximize the damage. Because it's already gonna scale for you using the grab anyway. You gotta make sure to get the most possible. Yep, sounds good to me. Now we can move on. So that's literally what's going to happen most of the time. Because this will work just as easily if they do something stupid like an invincible wake-up, which everybody knows doesn't work, and you'll still get the restand situation. The only time things have to be a little different is if they block it. Because I will say this, if they do block, So if you don't fully charge it and they block, I will say this. They might be able to match cloak if you're stupid. Now before that would be a problem, but I think the sub buffs made this a non-issue. Like the ice flow buffs. I think if you actually try to touch me still, you'll just get frozen anyway. Yeah. Yeah, I still think if you move, you'll just die. As long as you're in hit stun long enough to where a reversal armor won't punish me, this isn't a... And it was never that bad. So yeah. But once again with the ice clone buffs, yeah, nothing changes. So let's say they block it and you don't fully charge it, which you totally don't have to, they still can't do anything. You're just not plus 1,000. The reason you will fully charge it if you read a block is so that they really do have to read you. And because, see, now the back two is hitting. I'm so confused. So yeah, that's basically it. You basically understand his corner game, and literally that's literally all you do. You'll do that crazy ass setup, then you'll do this conversion. Get another clone, and this time you'll be 100% reactive. Because you're not getting the plus frames to armor break like you normally would. And that's only because of the one nerf sub did receive, but that's okay. Because the bust ice clone itself will make this like a whatever thing. And obviously, even though you're not plus on knockdown, you're still safe on knockdown, so if you know they're going to turn left, you'll dash up and grab them anyway. Yeah, I don't know if that's just an online practice mode being stupid thing or if that's actually a factor. If that's real, then that just adds a new layer to this team because now basically you're just saying is that this has a 25% chance to reverse your inputs. But the more likely reason is because of the plus frames. Like, do not underestimate the plus frames of Sub-Sonia. Even a non-charged ring leaves you with a generous amount of hit stun. So what could be happening is that you're pressing something faster than you're actually allowed to move, and the game is reading it as something else and getting you frozen. Okay, I need to look through these messages. Nope, that's too many. I'm just going to wait until stream is over. Well, I can try to answer things as they're happening, but... So that's literally his whole corner game. Once you get into the corner, you'll just loot that. And remember, actually, I should go back and discuss viable ways to start this. So... There are 3 easy ways to start this. You probably know the basic way. Hit confirm, spend the bar. You'll get your setup easy. But now, what if you already use your ice clone and you have to deal with that 6-second cooldown? Damn it. The timing might be absolutely slashed. Oh my god, that should have been 6 seconds. That might be 5.3 seconds. Oh, that doesn't... Interesting. Oh no, there it is. Okay, I'm trying to think. So annoying. I don't know. I gotta feel that out. 6 seconds. Because I know this will run. But that's also a pointless fact because I'm spinning the bar now, which the whole point was to avoid having to do that. Oh, you could do this. I wonder. See, now it comes out now. Actually, that might be the answer. So the reason I do one jump punch is so this absolutely guarantees an armor break. Like, the timing is generous. If you add 2 of these, one specific character can exploit this. I think if you don't use Johnny Cage, you can actually do 2 of these and still armor break the opponent. Well, that can also happen. But I think he'll still argue maybe armor break most people, but Johnny Cage. His shadow kick will come out at the exact same time that you're allowed to move, which will basically mean that there's a 5% chance that it does. No, not even 5%. 50% chance it won't work on Johnny if you use two. See, it works on Sub just fine. But let's say, so this will happen in this situation. You're doing all of this, so you have enough time to get your clone back, so you can loop this. On Sub, this will work, and you'll get looped over and over again, because guess what? So let's just say you don't loop. Ugh. Into the blender. That's what this team is really supposed to be. So once you're conditioned, you can just loop this until the game is over. That's why this is Sub-Zero's best team. You can keep doing it until it's over. I'm not kidding. I can literally just grab loop them. That's literally how dangerous this setup is when done right. So if you were one of the characters whose armor wasn't fast enough to armor break Sub-Zero if he uses 2 of these instead of only 1, which is the safer way to do it, then this team is actually disgusting, because he can now just loop this forever. And there's nothing really you can do about it. That's what this team's supposed to do. So yeah, learn this. You'll have to really get used to the charge mechanic to master this. So definitely, if you just started using Sonya, I wouldn't want to take this to online for a while. This is honestly a comp team. The way I'm teaching you Sub-Sonia, this is a competitive team. This is why I think this is better than Chameleon. Because Chameleon doesn't give you meterless, loopable setups till you die. Chameleon's a neutral cameo. She's supposed to help Sub-Zero in the neutral so that he doesn't feel like a stubby character in the neutral. What Sonya does is give him access to his archetype at its most powerful, which is completely loopable and nothing you can do about it. Other than, cry about it. So yeah, that's Sub-Zero's corner game with Sonya specifically. It's literally just the same ridiculous setup over and over again that unless you're Johnny Cage, you can't do anything about if you screw 2 points. So that's good. Midscreen. Actually, this isn't even the best character to explain this. We're actually going to switch to another team that I think you could apply everything I'm about to show right now. I think you could spend maybe 10 seconds, 10 minutes on your own time, and you'll be ready to take this team to online. Ooh, wait. Okay, I transferred myself. Sub-Serena. The Sub-Serena stocks are up because of the buffs. Because what the Ice Clone buffs do is that it gives Sub-Zero a viable access to his archetype as a base character. What this means is that because Sub-Zero as a base character is stronger, he can now get more buck for his bite with assists that gave him a lot of neutral utility, but did nothing for either his combos or his, Ice Clone setups. That's the real reason why Chameleon is considered the best. It gives Sub-Zero neutral utility while also giving him combos and a good amount of Ice Clone setup utility. It was a well-rounded assist. And the reason Serena wasn't considered to be very good by my standards was because Serena gave Sub-Zero a lot of help in the neutral, but did nothing for his Ice Clone setup archetype. He was naked. His corner game was bare naked in the corner, and it was easy to disrespect. Before the buffs, all I would do is this, and the opponent could just jump out of it, and then... But now you can't do that. So right there, that's off the table. So now your only option is armor, and guess what? She can do this. So what we have now is base Sub-Zero setups, which are good enough to where you can't jump out of it, and now you have to deal with that. And I can spin the bar on the clone and do more crazy shit, because now I can do this. Into the nonsense. So that's why Sub-Serena is a much better team now. Because Sub-Zero as a base character is a better character. Sub-Serena is a significantly better team. This might actually be a top 5 team for Sub now. Which is insane because if you're in the server and you saw my tier list for Sub, because I released one, I put Serena as like maybe his 11th, 10th best. I'm saying that this is minimum top 5 for Sub, maybe even top 3. So let's talk about the obvious reasons. Serena saves Sub-Zero in full screen because full screen, he has this which sucks, this which is good, but only if the opponent is disrespectful, and it's useless if the opponent is jumping. That was Sub-Zero's biggest issue. He didn't have a crazy good way to check you for jumping. He had this, but notice that it doesn't have good range. So from this situation, if you jumped right here, this was not hitting you, and if I did the wrong thing again, I just got jump kicked in the face and lost everything. What some viewers would do is that they would do this, and boom, I just got hit. Right to the ice ball. Nah, you did it wrong. I should have gotten kicked with it. And then that would work. So in that situation, I'm right. Basically, he just wasn't complete full screen. He doesn't have enough full screen intimidation. Serena saves that because of this nonsense. I wonder if I could... That might be worth laughing. So that's already good. And then, of course, he has this, which has really crazy recovery, like green toss recovery. Notice I was right back. So what we have is an assist that complements Sub-Zero's actually solid movement. His movement has actually never been bad in this game. His forward dash is good. His back dash is good. I'm actually not the person you want to go to when you're ready to perfect Sub-Zero's wave dash. I am another feature of my free coaching program. I haven't completed the roster yet, but I have a roster of like side coaches. These are close friends of mine who are really good with a specific character in a very fundamental way. Because I will tell you right now, as good as I am, or as good as people say I am not a pro player. So there are certain fundamental things that I'm just not good at. I can explain it to you, but I cannot actually do it. One of those things is wave dashing. My wave dash sucks, especially with Sub-Zero. My wave dash is okay with Katana, but that's because she makes it easy for me. My wave dash with Sub-Zero sucks. Notice how I'm attempting to do it, I'm just fizzling. Right there I got it right. Right there I got it okay, but look at how slow it is. So there's a person named G. Fendi, who is a good friend of mine, who I'm going to try to get. And if I can get him available, he can teach you how to understand the movement and understand how wave dashing works in this game. I am not going to be able to teach it to you. I suck at it. But yeah, Serena complements the way Sub moves back and forth in the game because you can really notice with no recovery. His down two is a good anti-air, actually. So now he just has a wall. Because thanks to the jump cancel buff, so just jump. Oh, did they take that out? You know, try to jump kick. Ooh. Yeah, that's a buff. So thanks to the jump cancel mechanic, I actually have a very threatening, don't jump on me game. This will catch you. That'll catch you, and then of course my down two will catch you, and that was unbreakable, by the way. If you spam breakaway at all, it just wasn't going. So that's the main good thing. Another reason, damage. You're never gonna say Sub-Zero has bad damage if you're using this team because he makes it easy for you. Yeah, you time it right. You keep the corner then right back there. Another thing that makes Sub-Zero really good with Serena is this new buff that he got in the corner. So everybody already knows that this team is really good because of the meter drain and Sub-Zero's really long combos. But now he has a damage buff that gives him his meter back, which is really good because Sub-Zero is was always considered a very expensive character, especially back in the day. Because you needed to spin a bar in this ice cone constantly to give him access to his setup archetype in the past. And even though his mirrorless clone is not good enough to where you don't need to, if you do, you'll just get the meteorite back. So let's see. Kind of think how you would use the room. You have all day. Oh wow! the recovery on the enhanced clone isn't as long as I thought, because I didn't think you would have been able to do that right there. Oh, that's another reason this team is good. These things automatically add seconds to Sub-Zero's combos, which will allow you to loop this. Which would normally be a weakness he has. If he doesn't have a cameo that you can use mid-combo, this will go away after you get one loop. But thanks to Serena, his combos are so long that he can just keep doing this over. So yeah, that's why this is easily one of Sub's best teams. And it's also very simple. That's why I said I could teach the way this team is supposed to be played in about 0.2 seconds. In fact, you probably already know how to play this team. Because everything I just showed you, you already know how to do. You can probably even do it better. Now here's the one thing about this team that's different. This one mid-screen setup. I might be able to improve this in the future, so just keep that in mind. So that's his mid-screen setup. So basically, he'll hit you with his basic combo, but instead of actually going for it, he'll wait a little bit. Why does it do that? The idea is that it's a combo. That's basically what I'm trying to show. Oh my god, stop freezing! Low. There we go. Why? Oh well, you don't have to spin a bar. So that's a low. What else? I'm gonna think. It should not be this hard. There it is. Okay, that's the option. But that's an annoying timing. You just jump in, do jumping 1, 3, 4. So that's a low, then you can just dash and grab, and that's actually the setup. That's literally it. Damn it! Does it not work with her? Ugh. Let me try this. I don't know what spinning the bar before you spin the bar 3 times does, but it still doesn't work. Okay, this setup is incomplete though, because that's not gonna work. Let me try something else. Nope, that won't work. Okay, maybe that only works with Chameleon, and if so, that's annoying. Great, I gotta find a new something. Okay, that's something. Oh, actually, that might be way greater than I think. Try to wake up armor there. I'm trying to see something. I think my back 3 would armor break you right there. I don't know. What I want, so... Okay, so what I'm trying to do is see if I can do a combo that'll put me there. See, right there, I just died. I think Sikander did something like this on his live stream. Oh wait, that might be a good idea. Okay, that's okay. My issue with this is that the ice cone is going to hit before I can, which makes this a not great armor breaking setup. If you were to break armor, if you were to armor right there, yeah, you would have got an armor broken. But I can't freeze you if you don't armor break. Yeah, this setup isn't complete, but theoretically, this is the new thing that will like complete this team. Because what this does is give Sub-Zero access to his Ice Clone setups mid-screen, which is not something that he usually has. Which I believe is the true utility of this move, because like I said, unless you're using this team, I don't even think doing this is optimal. For a lot of teams, doing this combo, like the swag combo for this, I legitimately think you are getting more damage with the combos he was doing. But if you can find the utility of this, so I need to study this. A new cameo, which I always thought was good for the record. I think this is the main team I use actually. Movado. I already said that Movado was in his top 5, but now it's undeniable. It could be his best now. Another team that could be top 5 is where is it? This team. And the reason I'm so excited that this might be one of his best teams is because this is Sub-Zero's most compatible team. If you want a team that just feels like the team Sub-Zero would use, like if Sub-Zero was playing Sub-Zero, this is the team he will want to use. So I'm glad that it's stronger. One reason that it's stronger is that this is like a thing. And this can actually be very useful because Sub-Zero already had a unique setup where he had this. Which has... Yep. Did you actually see the combo guide? Because that'll actually help me explain things easier or quicker. Okay, then you remember this setup. So if you were to armor there, the armor would not work, and you would get frozen. So try to do that. Oh, I timed it wrong. Punished. And the reason this team is stronger now is because of his buff, a new buff that he got that I didn't get to explain. So this needs to be able to showcase it. That was not a thing before. And what this does is that it means Sub-Zero gets way more damage off of this team specifically. Because before, because Frost already freezes you, you would only get like a good 20% off of these setups. Now you're pushing 30, 35. So this is the bread and butter of this team, the setup I'm about to show you right now. Because it will break armor. And it did a lot of damage, but now it does even more damage because you can freeze twice, and boom! 40% with this team. This team is not really a damage team, but now it's getting good damage. So you can literally just dash out. If you armor, you get frozen. Back. Like, you get embarrassed. I will say that the link is not generous. Notice how he almost fell to the ground. When you get frozen twice with Sub-Zero's Ice Clone, you don't stay on the freeze as long. This is a non-issue because you do have enough time to jump. You just barely have enough time. So that's like a disclaimer. So this team, it's a lot stronger because, and what's even better is that his buffs didn't drastically change how this team is played. The only objectively new thing this team has is stuff with this that I haven't even learned. Because the way this works is that it's not complementary to the way Sub-Zero himself is doing. Which is okay, because honestly, what he does with it is already better. So if I can make a use of the Frosty buff, that would be amazing. This doesn't matter. Ugh. Okay, notice how you kept getting unfrozen just in time. The one thing I don't like is that the one weakness that this setup has, I have to wait for that wall to go away before I can kind of touch you. So theoretically, if your timing isn't perfect, you could lose the combo. So right there, there it is. Ice Clone. Fuck. That was about to be like 33%. Before, the most you could get is 29, and now you're getting way more. And if you remember the setup, this beats a lot of things because dive kick has a delay property. So anything you do, it's going to come out significantly slower, and it will allow me to reversal ice ball. Just doing that will be 90% of the things that any character can do in the game. I can count on one hand the amount of characters that can actually get out of this. Like, could actually punish me for doing this and get out of it at the same time. The only real way to beat this setup is to do something that breaks it or gets around it and is fast enough to punish me. But here's the problem with that. Let's say I were to switch to Quan Chi, because Quan Chi has a teleport escape. Remember this? So just wake up again. So wake up slide, basically. Look at that. That's the easiest reaction punish of your life. So if you were to teleport, let's say your armor move was a teleport, I am reacting to the fact that the sky just turned gray, and boom, you're getting frozen and you're being punished. And now, because I didn't already freeze you once, oh, and that's another thing. There's another implication here. Because I can freeze you twice now, I can do this. This means that all of these techniques set play into itself, which was also not a thing that this team could do before. So now Sub-Zero can loop his setups, and he has two different kinds, the Ice Wall setup and the Ice Bomb setup, and he can loop it indefinitely now. I will say that when I freeze you twice, I either can't armor break you or I can't armor break certain characters. In this situation, I can armor break anybody because they're frozen for a while. But I think if I freeze them twice, they fall to the ground faster, so I'm armor safe. I don't know if I can armor break. I will lab it to be sure. Actually, no, I can just test that right now. Try to armor the second go round. There's another armor here, death. That practically hit on the same frame. Well, what happens if we got armor here? Well, that happens. This just punishes you. Okay, so if you are a character who has a punishable armor, then where you don't teleport, you're just gonna get frozen by this anyway. So I don't even have to read you. And because of this, this still has threatened to it now. Because you could grab off of this. That's what made the setup so good. And now because you can armor, I could do that. I timed it wrong, but right there, if I did grab, you would die. So, and here's the thing, you already did something unsafe in my face. So what this actually means is I could grab punish you and then you get frozen. Because notice how you kind of dodged it. My grab didn't come out. But that's possible. I can grab reverse punish you and then you're frozen. Or I can just punish you with my back three and you're dead. Or with my standing four or anything for that matter. And you're dead and losing all of this life. In fact, that's what I should be doing. What does hit high? His standing four? So, no, it's weird. The flake, it starts off as a high and it goes lower and lower to the ground. So the longer it's out, the more possible, and it tracks you. So let's say you move over here, and you move past it. Let's say you were to duck it somehow, like let's say you slid under it. That is the only way out. If you can if I don't punish your slide with grab, you could duck the grab just in time to not get frozen. But unfortunately, you're in hit stun for blocking this. So if you're gonna block it just now, you're in hit stun for blocking this. So yeah, that much. I don't know how accurate that actually is, but I know for a fact you're not punishing it. So just getting out of it doesn't mean you're safe because it's a completely safe setup. So ducking the grab, you can't punish me. You can't armor through me if I try to grab you because grabs don't break armor anymore. But other than that, this setup is just kind of cracked actually because it tracks you. So I don't even need to read armor actually. It's totally optional. I can just wait for you to kill yourself by doing it at all, and to get my setup anyway. Yep, and the recharge rate is ridiculous. By the time I do another combo, I'll get it again. The recovery on a lot of Frost summons are really good. In fact, the only move she has that has bad recovery is this one. Her double whammy explosion. That has horrible cameo recovery. That's why I'm honestly okay that you don't really use it. It's going to take 30 seconds for that to come back. So that's terrible. Unless you're using somebody like Astra with this, I really don't see the point in Sub-Zero doing it. Because this is just a better version of what that is. They basically just tried to give Frost the ability to give everybody Sub-Zero's very unique setup with this team. Because it accomplishes the same thing, except I only used half of it, and by the time I hit them with another thing, Frost will be returned to normal. Like, by the time this happens... Look, my cameo is going to come back. And then another Ice Claw, and then another setup. Like, this team has become one of Sub-Zero's best teams. It might actually be top 3. Because I genuinely am trying to see what the average player can do to stop me from looping this. And there's just not a lot of options. Oh, this is the coolest thing about it. Delayed wake up. Another cool thing about Sub-Zero is that these setups, if you delay your wake up, instead of just getting... You basically give me additional plus frames, which allow me to do this on wake up, and it's real. It becomes a true mix-up now. So delaying your wake up was always risky with Sub. Because now, if you delay your wake up, I'm no longer like barely plus. I'm extremely plus, and I can now grab loop you or hit you with the back 3. Are you not delaying your wake up? Because that's what I was trying to show. Hold the left trigger. So just hold the left trigger when you get slipped. Yeah, that's how you do it. So yeah, so Sub-Zero can already do this on its own. You delay your wake up, you're on the ground for longer, and now you have a just frame guess. Guess wrong. So delay wake up would kill you with Sub, because now you just threw your life away. That was the one weakness though. I couldn't loop it indefinitely. But because Sub-Zero's Frost Bomb setup has the same property, where if you delay your wake up, it doesn't matter. So delay your wake up. You didn't delay it. So this will beat delay wake up outright because of its properties. Does not matter. You just died. So basically, the Frost setups are impossible to escape. Those Frost Bomb setup in particular, impossible to escape from. So right there, I don't need to do it late, because what I did was late. I can OS it. OS or option select is when you do the same thing regardless of what your opponent is doing, and you still get around it. Oh, you delayed your wake up? Grabbed. The timing is strict, because right there I timed it wrong, because I grabbed after the Frost Bomb. If you time it right, I could basically play both ways. I can either back 3 twice with the first one, or I can back 3 to grab. The timing is fucked, but that's straight up possible. So I basically get to OS you, because if you wake up normally, the back 3 is going to hit you. If you delay your wake up, well, then I can just grab afterwards. There it is. I would have got it that time. There. Kind of. Three of these and it's over. Legitimately, it's over. And it wouldn't matter even if it wasn't, because notice how spending a bar was completely optional. The only time you have to spend a bar is if you go for the grab setup, and that's only if you just don't want damage or you don't want to loop it. Because when you grab him, he gets knocked out. You have to use this. Well, no, you don't have to do that. In the corner, you don't have to do that. You have the option to do this. So this buff actually fixed the one weakness this team had where you have to spend a bar to get a combo. You don't have to do that anymore. However, if you use the Ice Clone early, you can't loop it. So what would you do instead? Well, that's simple. You go for this. So yeah, that's this team. They're a great team. Now, and I think I said this one time when I was making the guide way back when. I said if they buffed it to where Sub-Zero could freeze multiple times, or an assist freeze doesn't count towards his freeze, this team would be broken. And now it's literally half that. The only reason this team isn't fucked is because if I freeze twice, they go faster, so I don't have to. I have to read or like be patient. But that's not that big a deal because it tracks. Remember, I don't have to read armor in the first place. But if I also still had the ability, like if they stayed frozen as much as they usually are, if they get frozen a second time, I maintain momentum. That's the thing. That is the one thing you lose when you loop it. Because the second time, so the only time you can armor break for sure is the first time. After that, you will technically get hit if you try to armor break them again. So you just don't. You let them do what they think they can get away with, and they'll just get punished by it anyway. So just keep that in mind. And remember, if they do that, they just lost a bar for breakaway, so you get another setup. And if they do that 2 times, it's just over. They just lost the game. At least if you eat the grab, it's only going to do 20% a piece, so it's death by a million paper cuts. So actually, let me just... Oh, I'm sorry. This is a very important detail. Use the normal grab in Midscreen. So yeah, if you take the grab, like your best option, if you don't have a really good answer, just turtle up and take the grab. That's another thing. I can stagger. Well, on hit stagger, really, because I hit you. But like, I could do the back 3 either way, and if you block it, or whatever, I can just go for the other option. So at this point, Frost finally didn't come back in time. So yeah, if you get grabbed once, you won't get TOD. If I had to use the grab setup at least once, then you won't get TOD. But if you are mashing for whatever dumbass reason, you just lose games. Awful. So this is definitely the team people need to pick up, because that's also not the only thing. In general, this is great, because this gives Sub-Zero full screen presence like with Serena. In fact, this is actually a little bit better than Serena in one specific regard. The regard being defense from zoning, like anti-zoning. The reason Serena was good is that, you know, this would hit, so let's say I was using Serena hypothetically. Serena would take the hit. That's why Serena was so good. And she would counter zone, and then she could get like a full screen conversion. Frost does the same thing with this, but better. Because Frost will take the hit, number 1, and you get a full combo here. So imagine eating 30% meterless every single time you do a projectile. Anytime you do anything, really, that isn't a teleport, that's what Frost gives you. He gives you a free combo. She gives you a free combo the anytime the opponent's stupid enough to zone. And this will be things that beat other projectiles, because I don't think this is considered a real projectile. If it is, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Oh yeah, enhanced Ice Ball eats projectiles. So see what happens in that situation. No, you gotta enhance it. So you lose. You lose. So if that beats Sub-Zero's, that means it beats a lot of characters that can do that. It'll beat Liu Kang's, because his enhanced shit will beat eats projectiles. It'll beat that. It'll beat Reiko's. It'll be who else has a really good one? It'll be Tanya's. So a lot of people hate the Tanya matchup with Sub-Zero. I know for a fact I hate Tanya in general. So this does so much for Sub, but a lot of people didn't care because, like I said, the Frost team was underwhelmed because it was incomplete. But literally, these buffs have just given this team so much life. I wouldn't be surprised if this starts out to be the best team because honestly, now that I've had the time to genuinely explore this, it actually could be Sub's best team. It's a stretch because you are sacrificing something. It's not like this is like flawless. For one, you're sacrificing like flat damage. Your B&Bs are non-existent. Like, let's say you just like your B&Bs you're getting is the B&Bs you get with base Sub-Zero. That is one drawback. You're not getting crazy damage. Yeah, this is cool, but this technically does slightly less damage than if you just hit the back two raw, similar to a Deadly Vapors, but with slightly better scale. So basically, you get a meterless version of the Deadly Vapors combo that does slightly more damage. But that's not really a B&B, that's just the normal shit. So one weakness is that, you know, Sub-Zero technically loses out on damage, but when you have a loop setup archetype, that's usually a non-factor. So what's another actual weakness this team has? I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Like a weakness that Frost isn't able to alleviate. I'm trying to think of one, and I can't. I legitimately cannot think of something that Sub-Zero struggles with that Frost doesn't help with, other than maybe he's still a slow character. Like, his mid still sucks. His overhead's still reactable. There's no fixing that, but you wouldn't use it. You just wouldn't use back two. Honestly, there are very few teams where you could even use back two. You could use back two of Sonya if you were to use the meterless ring setups, but I wouldn't even do that anymore with the buffs. There's just no point. There are very few teams where I would even use back two, like in the neutral. I'm trying to think. I would maybe with Kano, but why would you use your Kano knives to make back two safe? There are so many better uses of your time. So yeah, that's one weakness, but I would argue that Chameleon doesn't even alleviate the weakness of that he's slow. I will say that even though even though there's not a single thing that Frost doesn't alleviate, like any actual weaknesses, I will say there are some things that Chameleon does for Sub-Zero better than Frost does. For example, this Chameleon's Glaive does the same thing, but now it's plus and makes this really powerful. Chameleon does that, so that's slightly better than this because Chameleon's recovery is better than Frost in general. Frost has good recovery on all of her stuff. Chameleon has great recovery on all of her stuff. So that's one noticeable difference between the two teams. But that's nitpicking. In the grand scheme of things, this very well could be Sub's new best team because it legit gives him everything. Like right here, you're getting looped. So that's another thing. I can now loop you from full screen. If I check you with this, you're going in the blender. And guess what? Frost is about to come back, and she's back, which means another. You hit me? Doesn't matter. Does not fucking matter. It's so bad. It's so disgusting. You're almost dead. Anything will kill you now. Down two to the face. It's over. So yeah, definitely learn this team if you're feeling it, because yeah, and I legit just showed you everything. Like, you can just rewatch the combo guide too if you need to be reminded of anything, or if I didn't showcase something. But like, you had the easiest time just using this team. If a character is being really disrespectful in wake-ups, that's when you'll do this. When you'll use this setup. I genuinely don't think you need to use this setup all the time, even though it's really good. It's the most creative thing about this team. But genuinely, the loop into the ice bomb, this is all you really need to be doing after you land a hit. You really don't need to be doing anything else. Because chances are, by the time those shenanigans are over, they've already lost. But let's say they adapt to it, like they're, you know, respecting you, reacting to the grab, then you would try to see, you know, if this will work. Oh, but remember the timing. Don't do the frost wall until you're like halfway through the second hit of your fucking overhead. Otherwise, you're not going to side switch. You need to side switch for the setup to work. And remember, they're not always going to armor. Shit, they might just stand there. But that's okay because they can't punish you for doing that. And now you're in the neutral. You still have a frost bomb. There's just so many ways. Uh, oh, so actually, no character can projectile through that. No, no, no. The reason you can projectile through it is because it's your frost one. But ordinarily, no, that wouldn't be a thing. I forget how it works. It's like a friendly fire type of situation where you can go through it, but the average person can't. I will say though, it's weird that Sub-Zero can do it because this isn't always the case for every character. Takeda can do it, but the reason Takeda can do it is because it like goes past the wall. It doesn't look like he's going through it. And there are some characters who can't go through it. For example, Smoke can't smoke his way through, even though he should. That would make Frost a much better team for him. There are characters who look like they could go through it, but they can't. But there are some characters who can actually throw out a normal. On like Reptile, like let's say I was using Reptile here, my back three will go through the wall. That's how that team will work. Oh, another factor. Fake mix, so yep. And you're getting looped now. So that's just another thing you could do. And that's semi-unique to this team because there are very few assists that actually have a low launcher. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Frost might be the only character. So yeah, this is definitely a top 3 team. I'm trying to think, what else is worth teaching? I want this team to be good, but it just feels like a more expensive version of the game you play with every team. I do like it. I don't know, how do you feel about Goro? Because my issue with Goro, if I'm going to talk about it, I might as well showcase it. My problem with Goro is very simple. This is too expensive. For the damage it's giving something. This is above average damage. Not great damage, above that. Okay, actually, that wasn't optimal. Let me be fair. Something like... Ugh. I don't know. Okay, it does 48%, 1 bar for people who don't want to know. I don't even go for that, actually. So that's what I don't like. There are aspects of the team that are really good that you don't want to use because it takes forever. It's like, this is good right here. It's combo. I showcased it in the new video, I think. Whoops, I dropped it. So, this thing, its OTG property was buffed, so now I can do it with Sub-Zero Slide. So that's good. You get good damage off this. I remember the optimal being like 52% 2 bars. So that's good. That's good damage. That's good damage. But one, you lose the corner, and you don't want to do that because Sub-Goro is by far the strongest in the corner. So that's already it's drawback 1. Drawback 2, it'll take forever. And normally you can use use it if it's gonna end the round. No, you only want to use this if it'll end the game. So you're at round 2 and you have both bars and you hit them on a raw overhead. I will say it's not impossible to hit a raw overhead with this team because Goro does have a few cheeky mix-ups. This is already a low grab or something. So it's not impossible to hit him with a raw overhead. I've definitely done it. I would actually even go as far as say you'll hit a raw overhead at least once if you only ever use it once and never again. So, like, in a vacuum, this is really good. The problem is, you're never going to be in a vacuum. Like, it just takes way too much time for it to come back. I'm really wasting all these resources to get damage that, while good, I could get better damage for less resources. Cyrex will give you the same damage, and those things will come back. Shujinko gives you busted damage, actually. That's another team that might be top 10 actually that I actually do want to go over. But yeah, this team, what's good is that it's the same reason a lot of Sub-Zero teams are good. You'll do something like this. Oh my god. You'll do 3Ds. Into... If you do nothing, you're already frozen. If you block it, I'm at plus 30 and I get a free ice cone set. So right here. That's the team. But that's literally the team. That's it. Everything else about this team, it's literally just, oh, conversion with this thing. Oh, conversion with this thing. But the recovery is bad. Yeah, that's a plus on block launcher, sure. But it'll take 20 seconds for that to go back to normal. So if you use your plus on block launchers, now you have nothing in the once you finally get them to the corner. That's the problem. You have to spend resources to take advantage of Sub-Zero's really good corner carry most of the time. So by the time you're in the corner, you no longer have the ability to go for your archetype anymore because you wasted the ball. That's the problem with this team. And I can loop it. Yes, I can. Problem is, unless they're just being disrespectful 3 times in a row, they are not dead. This will never happen. They will respect it the second time. I promise you. They'll probably respect it the first time. But yeah, let's assume that the player is just straight up dog water. Yeah, this is okay. It's okay that Goro takes forever to come back. But why would I use Goro for this when Sonia can do this for me and she just keeps coming back? Or Weiss Frost can do this for me and she keeps coming back. There's no reason to use Goro. It's a great team in terms of how good his hit stun is. Like, his hit stun makes it to where it's really hard to escape. Remember how I said fully charging Sonia on block makes it to where the opponent can't move? Goro does that. You're stunned for a very long time. So it's like the best ice. It's the second best ice clone setup. It would be the best if it had better recovery. But because it doesn't, Sonia's is still the best. So yeah, and it's crazy because Sonia's takes the whole cameo bar just to do it once, but it comes back so fast it doesn't matter. Movado. I want to go to Shujinko now, actually. So I'm not gonna be able to show what makes this team broken out against Sub-Zero specifically. But the first thing you want to know about Sub-Zero Shujinko is that this team does ridiculous damage. Hit confirm anything into whatever Shujinko's launcher is into this. So pretend that was a Shujinko launcher. Fuck. Oh, actually, you don't even need to pretend here because this is a whole discussion on its own. The fact that this is a thing. Sub-Zero gets permanent access to this kind of damage. This is 1 bar. Almost 46%. And notice how it didn't cost me any cameo. This thing cracked Shujinko. This is legitimately a top 10 team from Sub-Zero minimum, despite the fact that it's Shujinko. Because that does not cost any cameo meter. I could do it as many times as I want. If you spend 2 bars, that does 49%, so almost 50. And if you use a Shujinko launcher instead of back 2, which you're never hitting people with, you're getting 46%, sometimes 60%, sometimes 70%. That's viable. Like, all that Shujinko shit y'all think I can do in a real match, the only thing you need to do is land this mid. Or this. You're telling me you can't land this in a real match? This is hard for you to do for some reason? Takeda's shit only takes half of Shujinko, so you can do it twice. No, this character is crazy. This team is crazy. Bro, if this only took half as long, this would be Sub-Zero's best team. Because the damage Sub-Zero get isn't just good. Sub-Zero is actually one of the top 10 best damaging characters in the game if he's using this team. Because this standing 4 has low scaling of Shujinko. Well, let's say I spend 3 bars here. Hypothetically. This is something he could do at any time. He could get this damage anytime. Or let's say I just hit confirm. He could just hit confirm his mid into this for ridiculous damage. That's almost 45% in of itself off of his mid, or off of his low, or off of his best string. I will say one annoyance is this. That's problematic. However, I'm pretty sure the kick lands. No, it doesn't. That is the one problem. That's one problem. That's one thing that holds this thing back. For some reason, this just won't work in this case. So you don't want to use this unless you want to use that thing. So he has that problem. That's not fun, but that's okay. Because I feel like if they buff it to where it has... Huh? Oh, no. This is a misconception. It is not a true launcher. I wish it was a true launcher. No, Sub-Zero would become a top 10 character. No, he would become a top 10 character. People would start saying nerf him if that was a free launcher. Because that would actually make a lot of teams broken. That would make Serena his best team now. Because now, no, not Serena. It would make... What team would make it broken? I think it would make Well, it would definitely make Sub-Frost's best team down. Because now he doesn't even need a cameo to get a Venus extension. It would make Sub top 5 team. So yeah, no, this doesn't have to be a launcher. It does not. That would be overkill. But yeah, this not being a thing, that's a little annoying. And I think that's the reason Sikander stopped using this team, because I know he was using that for like split second and he was going crazy about it. And another thing, Sub-Zero's combos are so long that you could do 1B&B, meterless, and your Shujinko is ready. He doesn't get anything good from a Sub-Nero, unfortunately. It would have done less. It's going to do less damage than if he just didn't add the freeze at all. Like I said, he doesn't get anything good from a Sub-Nero. Don't do this against Sub-Zero. But against literally any other character, I would say, he gets something good out of everything. There are only 3 teams I would not use Shujinko against. I would not use Shujinko against Shang Tsung because you don't get anything. You transform to the opponent's cameo, which is kind of annoying. I wouldn't use this against Sub-Zero for reasons you just saw, and I wouldn't use this against Baraka because the launcher you get doesn't work mid-screen. Every other character, you get access to 50% off of your mid or off of your low at any point in time. And here's another reason this team is good. That's a thing. That's a whole thing. You jump, you get frozen. You backdash, I can slide you. You stand there, you're gonna get grabbed. This is a whole thing. You moved. Well, that sucks. Get looped into another one. So yeah, this team... And if this wasn't a thing, I would say this is a top 5 team because the damage you get is crazy. Or if Shujinko just took less time to charge. Because there are some situations where you would want to charge him. I will say that it's rare if I already land a hit and that's how I get Shujinko. Most of the time I'm just going to charge him from full screen. And what's funny is that the charge actually takes the hit because 9 times out of 10 it's ahead of you. And Shujinko isn't gone for very long if you hit him. He isn't gone for very long. So a lot of people just use Shujinko as a shield while they're zoning. If they jump, it's more likely going to hit Shujinko than it's going to hit him. And if you don't get there in time, then, you know. So yeah, this team is great. No, that is the one weakness. If you do hit him, you can't use Shujinko for a little bit. But emphasis on a little bit. If you hit him, he's not gone for very long. So he'll be gone for like 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. So literally the clone. If I were to do... See, he's back. No, he was actually back 5 seconds ago. So literally... So hit Shujinko and then do clone. Literally the cooldown of clone. A little bit less, actually. I think that was only like 3 seconds. So in 3 seconds after you use Shujinko, he comes right back. So literally you could just use Shujinko as a shield half the time. Oh, yeah. So when you're using, so when you charge Shujinko, you can't use his Shujinko loop. What you can do is deactivate it at any point to get quick access to it, because this is crazy. Like the fact that he can just loop this over and over. He can just do that. And then back to into another one. The link is tough, but that's the whole thing. He can just loop this because this has a very long crumple, and you don't want to ice clone until he's already on the ground. Because if you do it any earlier, this will happen. That's where you gotta wait last minute. But because you have to wait last minute, you can loop this. You just keep looping this. If they jump, they're gonna get hit. If they run, if you catch them backdashing, that'll catch their backdash. If they crumple, boom. And if you walk up to them and you see them about to move, slide anyway, and they still get frozen. It's disgusting. And yes, forward grab works. I didn't show it because I'm trying to make the point, but the timing is a little fucked though. Even with the sub buffs, you barely have enough time. But it's a whole thing. And once again, that loops into itself. You try to move away, that happens. We're in the corner now. You just keep doing it. There's no stopping you, actually. It's horrible. And it's armor breaking, actually, by the way. If it wasn't obvious, this is armor breaking. The timing is a little strict because you have to do it as early as you can without you not getting hit. So right there, you got armor broken, but I armor broke you late. If I armor break you right, you still get frozen. And it's easier in the corner. It's way easier. And some characters have a stun. So like Ice, like Sub-Zero has this property. This will make Ice Clone loops even easier because now after a crumple, use this Ice Ball and then just do that. But realistically, I could just do that on my own too. And now it won't. And now it just works. It's a whole thing. So yeah. Oh, very. It's literally just a better Ice Ball. This is not the optimal, but this is something that never drops. Oh, that's another thing that's inconsistent. Sometimes that won't happen. And you want that to not happen. Because if you don't happen, you get your setup. If it does happen, then you lose the setup. You're also not going to get punished, but still. So yeah, the only thing that holds this team back is that the clone setup is a little inconsistent because of this. Sometimes you wake up in front of the clone, but sometimes you don't. And obviously, you want to have this thing charged because the real reason this team is the greatest thing ever is if you land a hit at any point, it is over for them. They are losing 50 to 60 to 70% of their life. In fact, the most damage you can get is a viable 80% combo. Like an 80% combo you can actually land. The reason I haven't uploaded a sub online combo video is because I'm trying to land that because I know you actually could. It's literally as easy as just landing this mid. The hard part isn't landing this mid. Like, when people ask, oh, if these are viable to hit a real match, why are you hitting them? It's easy to do the combos. You know what's hard? Finding somebody who will use Takeda, because he is an underwhelming character in certain ways. Oh, so no, I already did Sub-Goro. Do some rewinds. Sub-Darius. Sub-Darius is a great team. Reason I haven't talked about it is actually very simple. Ooh, wrong team. The reason I haven't talked about Sub-Darius is because Sub-Darius didn't get any changes. The way you play Sub-Darius is very unique. Sub-Darius basically is... He's kind of like Pharah, where instead of playing Sub-Zero, you're kind of just being Sub-Darius's partner. Instead of using Ice Clone setups, you're just using Darius setups, and the Ice Clone is letting you get them and loot them for free. So that's why Sub-Darius is really good. I'd say Sub and Darius have perfect synergy. I just feel like sometimes Darius, as a character, sometimes his mix won't work. I just feel like he's easy to get around. So, let's see. That's a hard to blockable, but it's a gimmicky as hell hard to blockable. It's the easiest hard to blockable in the world, but it's technically still a skill. So yeah, he does a lot of really good stuff. This armor breaks. In fact, try to armor. Whoops, wrong one. Whoops, how am I forgetting this? Okay, I got it this time. I don't know what that was. Yeah, try to wake up armor. That's a combo. I dropped it, but that does 40%. So if I armor break you with this move, you're taking a combo. If you just take the hit, oh, it does the same thing if you try to get out of it. Yeah, the way it launches is very unique. Yeah, the reason that happens is because you armor through Darius's kick, but you can't armor through Sub-Zero's kick. And Sub-Zero's kick is a stun kick. Darius's is literally just a low. It's a normal low swipe. So basically with Sub-Darius, if you can set it up for free, you get a free armor break. Yeah, you want to do the double because you want to be able to get the clone out. So you got to get that optimal. And it does 40%. So this team does a lot of crazy good things in the corner. And I will say that it's not hard to take this team to the corner because one of these will do that. Armor breaking, fake, hard to blockable. I say fake because it is fake. It is very easy to block it. That also armor breaks. That's what this team is. It's an Oki-Zeme mix-up team. You just get a knockdown or a free estate, and you just throw out random things that you think they're going to get hit by. If you think they'll block this thing, then you'll do this instead, because you can do this Midscreen. The hard to blockable. If you think they're going to block both of those things, then you can do a grab combo, because I think you can do that. Actually, no, you can only do it in the corner. You can also get a grab combo off of this version, but the timing is more strict, so that you don't always have to go for it. But that's literally what this team is. It's literally just a stance. It's literally just an Oki-Zeme stance that OS's delay wake up, like makes it a non-factor and does the same shit. The thing is, though, it's kind of hard to kill with this unless they're getting hit by the hard to blockable stuff. And as I originally said, that's the easiest mix he has to like break because it's the easiest hard to blockable in the world. If you can't block that, then you just don't know how to block, and you probably shouldn't compete in a tournament anytime soon. But it technically is a hard block. It's a gimmick. Now this stuff, not everything he does is, gimmicky. Like this is legitimately good. Because it's an OS. You can do that every single time. That could be the only thing you could do. Because if you just take the hit, that's 20%. That's chunky damage. That's more damage than most people's grab combos. If you armor, you're going to get a combo, and that's going to do 40%, like I said. And if you block it... Oh, there it is. Got it. Oh, it does 36%. My bad. And if you block it, it's a low, by the way. It's +8 on block, which means I can do that plus frame shit where... Remember, the bread and butter of plus frames with sub is if you get a plus frame, you want to do this. Because they're most likely going to poke at it because they either don't know it's plus, or they're mashing anyway because they're mashers. So basically, you're in a lose-lose situation with that move specifically. That move is really good. And then, of course, he has this... wait, no. These... We can get it that way. Hold on, that's the... This version, it gives you meter back if you lost it. Hold on. What is this? This gives you some of your cameo meter back, which I feel is weird. Well, no. The reason that's good is because you get your cameo back fast. You immediately get a half bar, and you get the next one in like 5 seconds. But you would only ever do this if you have a full cameo bar in the first place. So I think the utility of it is a little misleading. Because if I already have a full bar, why would I waste a full bar when I would just go for the set play anyway? But overall, it is a great team. I just didn't mention it here because he played the same way before he was buff, so I didn't think it was important. Cyrax. Ooh, that's a fun team if you like pain. Pharah, a great team. It was originally one of Sub's top 5, but I feel like so many of his other really good teams got buffed that this team is kind of redundant. It could still be one of his best teams. It's just that he doesn't use Pharah as well as I would like him to. Frost, or whatever, Frost. Janet. Janet is a great sub-duo team. Is it still top 5? I don't know. Jax. Jax is probably a great team now. Because Jax received a lot of buffs to the cameo recently. I can't explain what makes the team good because I'll never be able to get the input down. And if I can't get the input down, I'm not going to waste my time trying to teach you how to do it. It is fucked, and I need to change the input of it. Kano and Striker are a very interesting team. We need to talk about Movado. All right, what makes this team good is what has always made this team good, which is, whoops. This team was buffed. Notice how long this thing is on the screen now. Whoops. Forgot. I forget how to hold it, so... Ugh. Forgive me, my timing sucks. And do another one. So that's what this team is. You take them to the corner, in your combo with this, and do crazy shit. This should still armor break, but I'm not sure. What else? I already did the grab. The grab will not armor break. I'm not sure if the back 3 will armor break because what's concerning me is the distance. There's a lot more distance between the clone and the back 3. It might not armor break. Yeah, try to armor break. Because Movado already beats the armor, but the way I used the setup, you can basically armor a second time. I'm thinking you can because of the distance. That's what's confuzzling me. Now, a good thing is try to block low on knockdown. Because that's how you beat it. You have to block low on knockdown. That might be punishable. Because, yeah, try to slide after you block it. Because I know certain characters can punish this. Some characters can't punish it at all, in which case you can just keep doing that. Yeah, try to punish it with armored slide. I think armored slide will beat you, is what I'm trying to say. So like if you block and then armor slide. Yeah, I think you can armor slide me if your inputs are right. Your inputs just on point. Because I know Baraka can do it, and it was 15 frames, right? So yours is 14. So theoretically you can get me. So the way you will normalize this. Because at high level, they're going to block the thing all the time. You want to do this now. In reverse. That's +5 in your face, in their face. It even says that right there, +5. So this plus the OTG, that's +5 right in your face. If you try to armor break on reversal, you'll get armor broken. And then you have to guess the strike throw. And because you've got Rista for blocking it, the wake up is off the table. Now if you take the hit, which is what makes the whole setup annoying, he might still go, he still kind of goes away. Oh, I timed it wrong. That's what I was trying to do earlier. I don't know if the armor broke or that was something else going on. Whoops. Yeah, I can move way too quickly. That armor breaks. But if you don't reversal armor, then obviously that's just strike through because the grab will get you in the low B. But if you take the hit, which is the only annoying thing about this version of the setup, it takes forever for you to get up. To the point where I lose my setup. Unless I spin a bar. If I spin a bar, it does. You could delay your wake up and I'll still get my setup. But then I have to spin a bar. So that's what this team is. It's literally just another version of all the other teams that are good, but it also has a lot more utility. For example, it gives Movado gets Sub-Zero plus frames, like on block. Same with Chameleon. That's the reason a lot of people use Chameleon at first. That was the first thing people were saying was so good about Chameleon. Oh, I can be plus at any point, which can give him the dive kick mind games. Movado also gives you that. What else? And free hit confirms. That was the main appeal of Movado. Basically, if you could just throw out a move, and if it landed, you get a combo. And if it didn't land, that's okay. You don't have to waste your cameo. So you get your free hit confirms. That was always strong in this game. So it helped Sub-Zero's neutral. You could throw things out more confidently. You didn't have to worry about hit confirming. And once again, it complemented his corner carry because there you are already in the corner. And I obviously can modify that combo to where I keep my screen save. Ugh. But yeah, that's what made this team good. And what makes this team stronger now is because of the slide buff. See, that's what makes that team okay. But other than that, the team kind of sort of plays the same way. I don't know. Especially with all the other teams that are getting buffed because of these new changes, I'm starting to think that even though Movado is definitely still a top 10 team, I think it might have gotten overshadowed. Oh, I will say one thing that got buffed. Sub-Zero's damage scaling off of his slide was reduced, aka he got a damage buff. So before, whenever you comboed into the slide, like OTG style, the damage on Movado gave you used to be high, and then it got nerfed because Movado got a damage nerf. So basically, Sub-Zero used to get 52% with Movado's using his Strip Mine, and they nerfed it. But because they reduced the scaling on Sub-Zero's slide, before this would do 48%. So just keep that in mind. So now Sub-Zero can get 50% with this team again, which is one thing I thought this team really needed. And the recovery on it is great because by the time that combo's over, you already have Movado back. So if you really wanted to, at the end of that combo, you could do your set play again. Okay, Sector. Oh, why am I ignoring the elephant in the room that is Chameleon? Probably because I don't like her personally. Okay, Chameleon is obviously a great team. We go over what makes Chameleon great. At this point, I just feel like I'm wasting the time of. I feel like I'm wasting your time if we go over that stuff. They feel like I'm wasting their time. Let's just talk about the new stuff. So first of all, he has an easier version of the setup I was trying to do with Serena, where I don't have to wait. What? What is this? I'm so confused right now. I'll get into it later. There's still the old setup where it's like so annoying. Okay, that's convenient. I can just use that thing. Whoops. No. Why is it random? Nope. Why? I need to do the far version, that's why. Ah, what? Yeah, like I said, this mid-screen setup that I'm trying to get needs experimentation because what I want to do is create a setup where I can throw this out, do a combo, and then that last clone, it hasn't been used, and I can get an armor break setup. But there's a very specific conversion that exists for me to do it, and I haven't discovered it yet. And until I discover it, I can't teach people this setup. It'll be ready once I dedicate like a few hours, but I don't do that on your time. Just because it's free doesn't mean I get to be lazy and not actually do anything right. All right, so I want you to pick one more team that you really like, and we can explore that. Like I actually like try to instruct you and stuff because I've just been giving you overviews at this point. It could be one thing we already gone over that you want to actually practice doing, or it could be something I didn't go over yet that you really want to bring into like fighting games like the next day. Like, what's one more team that you really need to be perfect? All right, this will take a minute. Let's see. Well, if we ignore this new thing, which I honestly don't think I'm going to be able to teach you yet, let's see. Honestly, I think I could just teach you the high level stuff that's from the guide. So let's see. Jaquavius, can I beat Sikander? That's actually an old comment. In a long set, no. In combat league, maybe. I don't know. It depends on if I can get the drop on him or not. Okay. I think the first thing I can teach you is the modified corner game. So Chameleon helps Sub-Zero by giving him long extensions, in addition to additional mix depending on whatever thing he's in. He basically can loop all of the setups into itself. So here's the first one he has. Oops. So that's the number one. And it'll armor break if you try. And that's basically the limited thing. You use a different type of long combo that ends in an ice cold setup. So if you're in Green Chameleon at the time, you'll do something like this. If you're in blue, you'll do that. And if you're in purple, you basically do the same thing. So let's see. That's more ice clone. You basically just do that the entire time. So the Katana setup and the Melina setup, it's the same input. Whoops, why is that drop? Wait, standing 3. Standing 3 is way more consistent than standing 4 in these, by the way. Sometimes standing 4 whiffs. That can also happen sometimes. Just try to backdash as much as possible to prevent that from happening. Just go nuts. Oh yeah, you need to switch. I need to switch your team to this. Oh yeah, the Jade one is different. So, Jade. You do this. So you get 2 of them. Because that's an automatic. So let's say you block it. Because there you're just getting hit. So you're just not blocking it. Oh my gosh. That's like plus. I don't even want to know how plus it is. That's an easy mix. You gotta make sure that's close. Yep. Oh, oh, that's interesting. Did I do that lane? Okay, I must have done it later, so... Yeah, that was probably good. Alright, go nuts. You gotta react to which one you have, because one is different than the other. With Jade, you do 2 of them into standing 3, into the glaive, into the setup. With the other ones, it's back 3 times, into standing 3, into neutral cameo, into blah 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 blah. Oh yeah, I'm using 3. 3 is way more consistent, especially for these. Oh no, you're not using Ice Clone in any of these. Remember, it's 3 of them into 3 into straight cameo. You never use the clone in any of these because you want to use clone at the very end. Oh, that won't work. If you use that route, then nothing will link into the next thing. It just won't work. What you could do, if you want, is this. That also works. Might even do more damage than what I was doing. But that's specifically for if you land on Katana. The reason I did the other version is because it works well. So let's say you do it while you're in the middle of Katana. But then last minute it switches from Katana to Melina. Suddenly doing the slide, you no longer get your setup. But if you do back to stand 3 into cameo, it'll work if it transforms it to Melina last minute. Because that's an annoying thing with Chameleon, you're never in control of the momentum. you could lose what you need in that exact moment at the exact moment you need it. It doesn't happen nearly often enough for it to not be considered Sub-Zero's best team. Because if it did, people would not be calling this Sub's best team. Because it doesn't happen a lot. Most of the time, you know, what you need is still there when you need it. But if things just happen just a little bit less, see, I was not blocking. Okay, go again. Okay, right there, that was fake. Remember, if it's still on J when you go for it, you got to only do 2 of them. You have to know exactly how long before the shift changes. And this is important because if you, like I said, not going for the setup, I could have armored right. I could have armored right there. See? Wrong one. Remember, you're only doing 2 of them if Jade is still there. Yep. I think you're trying to dash forward or something and it keeps reading that. It's not reading it as a dash, it's reading it as an input. It's better to just not do anything at all if that's what's going to happen. Well, you see the Glade whiff, so... The Glade has to hit me, otherwise I am not getting armor broken. Okay, that was supposed to be an armor. Ugh, the input buffer sucks on this online practice. Alright, let me in. Up, see, now it switched on you. Now you're beginning to see why I personally do not like this team. It's very annoying. It's inconvenient. Sub-Zero is a trap character, especially with these buffs, and I feel like what people aren't ready to accept is that Chameleon not being what it wants you to be when you're going for these setups is inconvenient. It doesn't bother you in the neutral because you can kind of use all of the... You have a use for all 3 of them the same way from full screen. Full screen, you can still throw this out. If you're Jade, you can still throw this out, except it's a lot stronger. The only thing you wouldn't throw when you're full screen is Melina, but it's going to go through 2 other ones before you get to Melina, so that never happens. And when you slide, guess what? Melina could convert off of that now because of the buffs, and Katana could always convert off of that because of the lift thing. So in the neutral, yeah, this is easily suspect because you just get in. Oh, it switched. Doesn't matter. He gets a conversion. That's what I need to be teaching you. Honestly, we can ignore the clone stuff because we're running into an issue that you're going to run into online. And this is something I cannot teach you. I cannot teach you to react to what variation it's on last minute. That takes instinct. And that's something you're only going to get with time. If I try to teach that to you right now, we'd just be wasting minutes. So, yeah, we can actually ignore his corner game because you honestly don't need to be doing it if you're going to main this team, I want to say. I feel like that could be a waste of time for you. So the only thing that's really different in that case, if we're only going through this new stuff, the only thing that's really important then is the Melina stuff. So the fact that you can do this. Like, that's great. Oh, okay, so let me see. Yeah, you just want to do the flip. And let me see another thing. Yeah, that's like the meterless optimal, and look at that, it's already back. So you'll want to do that every time, actually. But sometimes, but you gotta be quick, or otherwise that's. And it won't always happen, but just expect that it could if your timing isn't precise. Get off the side switch. Ugh, this. I wonder if I just have enough time though. Nope. Nope, Chameleon's still there. I can't just do it twice. But that also doesn't work, so you have to, I don't know, delay your jump punch? Trying to figure out something that's consistent. No. Wait, what if you jump straight up instead? Okay, that works. So you want to do this, jump straight up, but that can happen. Oh my goodness. I'm already going to see that. Oh, that's a good point. Oh yeah, we might have something there. Okay. Oh, but it takes. Okay, it's taking. Oh, that worked. Okay, so what I did is I just did. And I've just buffered the slide in. Okay. Why is it taking her so long to go away? That's what's messing up the combo. She's still on screen, which ruins the... Yeah, she's still on screen when I'm trying to call her. There it is. Okay, so you want to call this thing as soon as possible. Like at the same time, actually. Otherwise, Chameleon doesn't go away in time. That's very annoying. Yeah, so this is still the most consistent thing then, because messing up that timing could fuck up the whole thing. Okay, I gotta be fast with this. There we go. Okay, so this is probably his most consistent. So, is this in the forward, jump straight up, buffered grounded ice cream. And if he wanted to, just spin that bar. No, he can't. God damn it. Well, I guess you still can, but... Yeah, so this is objectively... That is great. What else? Is that it? Yeah, this is kind of it. Like everything else you already know how to do. And obviously with the corner game. Yeah, do you think you could like is this consistent enough for you to do? Because this is looking like what you're gonna want to do. Yeah, because you were already doing full screen conversion into Chameleon lift. That's nothing new. I don't think I need to teach you how to do this. Like at this, all I would really need to teach you is, you know, when you corner carry, do that thing. That's the only thing I do differently than anybody else who plays Chameleon, and that's totally optional because the momentum makes it unreliable. When you think you've gotten comfortable with knowing exactly when it's going to change, I can teach you the corner game with Chameleon because that's the only thing that I make unique about this team, and you don't even need to do it. Yeah, and I need to learn the... See, that was... Yeah, this was too easy. This didn't take nearly enough time for it to be the last thing. Is there any other team you want me to go over and actually teach you? Alright, for everybody that's still watching, and holy shit, it was a lot of you. I saw we peaked at like 60 viewers at one point, which is great considering I never promote these things. Seriously, you guys love Sub-Zero way too much. Thank y'all so much for watching. Sub, thank you so much for having me. Let me know anytime you want to go in for another training session. definitely hit me up sooner than later because I'll probably have all of the new Sub-Zero changes in the sauce. Because in this, session, I pretty much just told you stuff that was kind of already in the guide that I made like a whole month ago. Only I sprinkled in a few changes. Because the biggest thing for Sub is that the shit I already showcased before is now way easier to do and way more viable. Like, you basically have a bigger reason to even use it in the first place. In fact, I'd go as far to say is that it's kind of a requirement now. Which is why I don't even think this is his best team anymore. Because it doesn't complement his trap archetype as much as I would like it to. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Once again, you guys, thank you so much for watching. If God is good, I will have a Scorpion video out by the end of the day. And I know a lot of you guys were requesting that. Other than that, Combo God out.